Gratitude in Shaolin Zen, the silence that gives thanks. At the heart of Shaolin Zen, gratitude is not an emotion. It is not a reaction to what pleases us, nor a polite gesture. It is not a learned social habit or strategy to maintain harmony in relationships. In Zen, gratitude is a silent attitude cultivated like conscious breathing, without rush, without goal, without seeking results. It is a way of dwelling in the present with dignity and humility. Shaolin Zen does not teach to give thanks only for good things that come, but to live in constant gratitude, even when there seems to be no reason to be thankful. How can one be grateful when the body aches, plans fail, or uncertainty suffocates? From the outside, it seems impossible. But Zen doesn't look from the outside. It looks from within. From that inner gaze, the act of gratitude does not arise because everything is fine, but because there is an awareness that everything is part of the path. Every moment, even the hardest ones, contains a sacred element, not because they are fair, but because they invite you to see deeper, beyond judgment, ego, and the desire to control. In Shaolin, monks train their bodies with extreme discipline, but they don't do it out of vanity or competition. They do it to empty themselves. Every strike, every fall, every rise becomes an opportunity to give thanks, not to the pain, but to the fact of being alive in that moment. Gratitude is not toward what happens, but toward the possibility of being present in what happens. Detachment as a form of gratitude. One of the most powerful teachings of Shaolin Zen is detachment, not as renunciation of the world, but as renunciation of attachment to how we expect the world to be. This detachment is not coldness or indifference. It is, in fact, a deep form of love and respect. When you stop demanding that things go your way, you begin to see the beauty that already exists. And that new vision generates gratitude. Gratitude is not saying thank you when the world obeys you. Gratitude is seeing the world even when it does not obey you. Seeing the air, the breathing body, the walking feet, seeing the fleeting nature of everything and, instead of resisting it, embracing it. There appears a level of gratitude that is no longer verbal, but existential. You do not thank because you have something. You thank because you are. You do not thank what happens. You thank being aware while it happens. Thanking the emptiness. Another important dimension in Shaolin Zen is emptiness. Emptiness is not absence. It is formless fullness. It is the space where everything can manifest. In everyday life, we tend to be thankful when something fills our emptiness, an achievement, a person, an experience. But Zen invites us to be thankful also to the emptiness itself. Emptiness is the fertile ground where clarity, patience, and humility grow. Without emptiness, there is no possibility to learn. Without emptiness, everything is saturated by ego. Emptiness reminds you that you don't know everything, you don't control everything, you don't need everything. When a Shaolin monk sits in silence, he seeks nothing. That sitting itself is a form of gratitude. Gratitude towards stillness, towards silence, toward the simple fact of being in the world without needing to conquer it. Gratitude as an inner discipline. In the West, we usually associate gratitude with a spontaneous emotion, something that arises when we feel good or when someone treats us kindly. In contrast, Shaolin Zen considers gratitude an inner discipline, something practiced even when motivation is absent. Like the monk who trains every morning, gratitude is cultivated in every act, even the simplest ones, sweeping the floor, breathing at dawn, preparing a cup of tea. We give thanks not because something is special, but because the ordinary has become visible, and that requires attention. Without attention, gratitude has no space to arise. That is why Shaolin monks train the mind as they train the body to be present. Because only from presence can gratitude bloom without cause, never taking anything for granted. One of the deepest roots of gratitude in Shaolin Zen is the practice of never taking anything for granted. The master does not take food for granted, nor the disciple the teaching. The air we breathe is a gift. The ground that supports us is an ally. The body that hurts is a teacher. This kind of vision transforms everything. You no longer need a perfect life to feel fulfilled. You only need to see what is already here, without filters, without judgment, without comparison. This may seem simple, but it isn't, because the modern mind has been trained to want more, to reach, to accumulate. Shaolin Zen reverses this movement. It does not seek more, it seeks less. Less desire, less noise, less ego, and in that stripped-down space, gratitude appears like a wildflower. It wasn't planted, yet it blooms anyway. Gratitude in unity. Shaolin Zen also teaches there is no separation between you and the world. The falling leaf is not separate from the tree, nor the tree from the forest. You are not separate from life. In that sense, giving thanks is not something you do toward the world. It arises when you recognize that you are part of the world. There is no longer an I that thanks something external. There is only a flow of consciousness that recognizes its belonging. Gratitude ceases to be an individual act and becomes a state of communion. When monks silently walk through the temple corridors, they do not thank God, Buddha, or the universe as external entities. They thank from within, from a stillness that needs no words, because all life has become an act of silent reverence. Conclusion: gratitude without reason. The deepest teaching of Shaolin Zen about gratitude is this: you don't need a reason to give thanks. Give thanks, and you will see reasons you didn't see before. Give thanks, and the world will change, not because it changes outside, but because you are seeing with different eyes. The practice is simple but not easy. It is about stopping, breathing, recognizing, not demanding, not comparing, not wanting more than what is already here. And from that place, giving thanks even for what you do not understand, even for what hurts, even for what you didn't ask for. Because in Zen silence, even what you do not choose can be worthy of gratitude, not for what it is, but because it allows you to awaken. In Shaolin, gratitude is not spoken. It is embodied. It is walked. It is breathed. It is not a thank you said outwardly. It is a deep reverence for the present moment. It is the purest form of wordless wisdom.